better guy.
To change the world for the better, dreamers and visionaries must be able to explain.
Try it again, try it again. You say I'm a public speaking coach and I'm going to be working with you people over the next year. So, your future churcher is in the room, as they say. Try it again from the top.
To change the world for the better, dreamers and visionaries must be able to explain their projects and plan in a compelling and passionate manner.
Can you do that? Can you do your storytelling about your wonderful projects that we can change the world? Can you do that in a compelling and passionate manner?
We are fortunate.
1 answer out of 10. Excellent. Thank you. Proceed.
We are fortunate to be guided by Coach Robert Vallee. For over 37 years, he has coached over 17,000 speakers. We invite him to help us change the world for the better. Coach Vallee.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Let's give him a hand for the introduction. All right, now Kevin and his buddies sit over there for this entire presentation. They're going to die. Get over here. We need you in the sun. We need you to protect people from the balloon attacks that we're seeing around. So, Gavin, who is that gentleman over there with you?
Brad.
Brad?
Yeah.
All right, I know where you live, Brad. Okay. That's right, Brad. Very good. And getting the shot as well. All right, let's begin this thing. Do you know what the word a cappella means in music?
Yes.
I know with 2 H's. What does it mean, a cappella? Did you hear any of that? Shout it, Anna. That's right, we don't use instruments. Mark, that's allowed. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So, if you hear me sing, it's because I didn't bring any instruments with me today. So let's begin, shall we? Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With daddy and mama standing by. Don't you guys love summer? Come on now, what are you doing? Picnicking, camping, beaching, wonderlanding, come on. Then the rest of the year, what do you do?
Veggies.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed by the response. What do you do the rest of the year? Brad, now that you're in the front row. Go to school, heavenly, heavenly. All right, listen, I have a job for you starting today. I want you to go out there and recruit more dreamers and visionaries. More dreamers and visionaries. We're going to work with you in making the world a better place. Jim, can you start thinking of who it is you're going to recruit to become a member of We Can Change the World?
You.
You don't have to suck up, okay? Exactly. Listen, instead of just being a summer of vegging and enjoying yourselves, how about making this a summer of learning? And what I want you to learn today specifically is the importance of getting inspired. Now, how do we get inspired? Georgina, you can't get away from that. How do we get inspired? She said, you meet inspiring people. Absolutely. You read stories about inspiring people. And very importantly, you hang out with people with a vision and the inspiration to make this world a better place. Because this place has a lot of work to do. Would you agree with me on that? Emma? A lot of work out there. Okay, so the way to do this is, first of all, to become a student of music lyrics. Song lyrics can really, really inspire you. And very importantly, great stories. So today I'm going to sing and I'm going to tell you some stories. And at the end, we're going to invite each other to turn our attention to the community. What are you going to be doing in this community of Richmond Hill for the next 6 months? All right. I'm going to ask Layla with an E. What can we do in this community to make it a better place? can't hear you, sweet. A lot of things. All right, how about what? Name me one. Come on, it's already happening.
Volunteer.
What's that?
Volunteer. Kevin.
Kevin? Kevin, you're absolutely correct. The key is to volunteer. And you'll hear a story today about folks in Richmond Hill who volunteered to help a Syrian family settle in Richmond Hill. And that's a sad story that they went through, but they hear because people volunteered to help them out. So the key is to remember, when someone asks you, and what do you do? I go to school. No. What do you say? What do you say? I go to school and I say exactly what Kevin told me to say. I volunteer. What's your first name? Tyler? Okay. So Tyler, volunteering is something that should be on your personal business card. I have a business card, and my business card says I'm a lead volunteer for Cancer Recovery Foundation. We help families who suffer from cancer deal with the financial costs of cancer. So if you're not a volunteer, then you're just a student, or you're just a worker, or you're just a parent. So the key is to inspire you, especially Brad, who's responding to my emails and texting me right now. What are you going to volunteer in, Brad? Yeah. What is it? You're going to change the world then. Okay, specifically, what are you going to change in Richmond Hill? Say that again. Did everybody hear that? Mark, did you hear that over there, or do we have to get up to project?
I think you should project a little more.
Damn it! I think it's a Blue Jays game. Come on now.
Trying to get you to be inspired and volunteer.
That's right. Yes, you to volunteer, be inspired. Now you're all familiar with the changing the me to we, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the goal is to recruit, inspire individuals, youngsters like you, young people, and make a difference in the world. All right. Now, I'm about to sing a song. Mark, actually the two Marks that are here will probably enjoy it because it's Louis Armstrong. By the way, he's dead. All right. Imagine this song from Louis Armstrong. It's called "What a Wonderful World." I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Now, right now, if I ask you, can we say that this is a wonderful world? Who agrees that this is a wonderful world? Only Mark, because Mark is on special medication. It's that food concoction of yours, my
It's
friend.
all perspective, Robert. All perspective.
Right, okay. How many of you here can think back to 36 years ago about a fellow named Terry Fox? All right, Terry Fox. A gentleman, young man who had cancer in his leg. And in 1980, 36 years ago, he began the Terry Fox Marathon of Hope. Now imagine this. Imagine that you went to your school and said, I'm going to run across Canada and I'm going to raise $1 from every Canadian through fundraising. That's $1 from every Canadian as I walk across the country. Now, unfortunately, he passed away before his dream came true. But listen very carefully. Even though he had passed away, 9 months later, they had still raised over $24 million. Back then, that was our population. Now, let's focus on the power of one. The power of one individual. He was volunteering to fight cancer, and he was successful. Now, you know what it's like? You know how large the Terry Fox Marathon of Hope is today? So far, they have raised $650 million. They've paid $650 million. This is one man's act of volunteering. And that sum of $650 million was invested in over 1,100 research projects. Tyler, you got some friends you want to join in there? Come on, girl. Grab some look, grab some chairs, bring them over. Try not to hug women when they try to find a seat. So, Picture this again. We're talking $650,000 invested in over 1,100 research projects. Now, let me see. Kevin,
Yes.
imagine that you do something in Richmond Hill, and then later on you find out 30 years later it is being duplicated, replicated in over 25 countries. That's what's happening with the Terry Fox Maryland project. Well, now this guy went through hell in terms of health, okay? Let's understand that. And in fact, there's a great song that captures what he did. How many of you enjoy musical theater? Musical theater. Tyler, you do? You do? Excellent. Mariette? Okay. Our good friend Terry Fox had a dream. And at first, to everyone, it was an impossible dream. So what song do you think I'm going to sing, Mark? That's allowed.
Impossible dream?
Damn it. You're a psychic. The dream, the impossible dream. Listen carefully. To fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far. Where do you think he got his inspiration? Music, lyrics, poetry, stories of individuals who went beyond the call of duty. And that's what I'm asking you to do again. Recruit more people, Kevin. Get more people to become volunteers. See behind you, there are two people who are watching us. They'd love to be volunteer, but Kevin, if you don't approach them with the idea of volunteering, they're just going to sit on the sideline and suck on that drink. Yeah, you want to sing? If you come up here, you sing. So it goes.
He's coming.
Talent's on his way.
All right. Now you got to understand, you and I are here to change the world for the better, correct? Well, this is my favorite story of all time. How many of you have ever heard of a nun called Sister Mother Teresa? You have Sister Mother Teresa, Kevin? You have? All right. I love this story. How many languages do you speak? 2? Which ones are those? Mandarin and English. Excellent. This woman spoke Macedonian. She was born in Macedonia in 1910. But she wanted to be a nun, and so she was able to convince her local church to pay her to go and learn English. Because what she wanted to do was to go to India and help people in India who were struggling and suffering. So, imagine that. First, you speak Macedonian. Secondly, you have to learn English with an Irish accent, for those of you with a sense of humor. And then, when she went to India, she had to learn 2 languages, Bengali and Hindi. Talking 4 languages now, Georgina. And you know what she did there? She was a teacher for 17 years of young girls who were from poor families. All right, 17 years. She was a geography and history teacher. Because she understood that to have a better tomorrow, you need education. So how many of you here have quit school? Wouldn't dare, would you, Tyler? Exactly. The point is that education, as Malala said, education can defeat terrorism. Education is a powerful tool. So she went one step further. Now listen to this one. Mariette, you're going to love this. Picture this, 1950. Was there any feminism in 1950? 0. No feminism in 1950. This woman was able to convince the Vatican that they should give her the money to raise an order of charities, for the missionaries of charity. How many of you here would like to work in India for 30 years helping lepers? I'll repeat, helping lepers, people with AIDS? Not many of you. That's what she did. By the way, she started with 12 nuns, and 30 years later, it became over 4,500 nuns. You want to sit with it, don't you? Right. Why do you think she did that? Kevin, why do you think Mother Teresa would do this? Because she wants you to have a better tomorrow. She wants him to have a better tomorrow, and a better tomorrow, and a better tomorrow. And that means you've got to get more volunteers. That's what she did. That's what she did. She volunteered to get more volunteers so that they could make a difference, displace a better place. Cool? So, how do you spell Sister Teresa? Sister, you know. How do you spell Teresa? Teresa. And you got homework, Aaron. Aaron, you're going to Google Sister Mother Teresa. You know her. Google her and read her story because it's inspiring you to recruit other volunteers. Oh, Tyler's at me now. You got a shot at Tyler and the 2 bags that he brought. Okay. Let's go to the final story, shall we? How many of you have heard of a group called A Good Start in Richmond Hill? Not heard? A group of volunteers came together in 2015 to help Syrian families, and in this case, they adopted one Syrian family to bring them over. They sponsor them. Now, this family went through a traumatic, brutal, heartbreaking, and full of beatings trip, journey, odyssey to come to Canada. And the group, A Good Start, chose, well, he's having a rip-roaring time, this guy. Okay. This group of volunteers chose to help this family, and recently they were able to set them up in their home residence at last. Now, how many of you followed the refugee situation? Yeah? Pretty ugly, isn't it? Well, it brings one song to mind. There's a place for us, somewhere a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us, someday a time for us, time together and time to spare, time to learn, time to care, somewhere. Those lyrics are truly inspirational because it helps people focus on the goal. And the goal is we're going to have a new life, a better life somewhere. And thanks to volunteers like yourselves, you can make the world a better place. So, I'm counting on you to show these 2 lovely young ladies what the main message is. So tell them what the main message is. What's the main message of this thing today?
Volunteer.
Become a volunteer. Are you willing to do so?
Sure.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're going to volunteer some more? And when someone asks you, they go, what do you do? You're going to say what? I volunteer. What about you, Seth? Said do you, right? Do you volunteer? You have to say it louder. Anna with 2 H's. You volunteer? You volunteer, Kevin?
I volunteer.
I volunteer all the time. Good. Brad, you volunteer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mandy?
Yeah.
When people ask you, what do you do? What do you say?
Pardon?
When people ask you, what do you do?
I volunteer with
Excellent. And you're going to recruit more volunteers, right?
That is what
Excellent. Okay. That's it. I'm done. Thank you, sir.